Today, we're going to look at the topic of job culture in America. I'll show you how these concepts shape the daily lives of American workers, and then we'll go over some useful vocabulary words and phrases that'll help you talk about work culture in your own conversations. Let's dive in.
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. This is Happy English Podcast, episode 740, Job Culture in America. People living here in the U.S. have a hard time separating from work. Now, this doesn't mean that we are always checking our work email. What we do is who we are. Many Americans define themselves based on what their profession is. If you work with Americans, or if you know any Americans, you know that when you first meet, they are sure to ask you, "What do you do?" which is a common way of asking about someone's job. Most Americans take pride in what they do and are more than happy to talk about work even when you first meet them. Here in the United States, work culture is a central part of life. Of course, this work culture varies greatly depending on the industry, company, and region. However, there are certain themes which are common across the board. American work culture is often characterized by a strong emphasis on productivity, innovation, and individual achievement. Many American workers are driven by a desire to succeed and to climb the career ladder, which can sometimes lead to long hours and a high level of dedication to work. However, this focus on work has also sparked conversations about the importance of work-life balance. For many Americans, achieving a balance between their professional and personal lives is a constant challenge. The idea of work-life balance involves finding time not only to be productive at work, but also to enjoy time with family, friends, and personal interests outside of work. This balance is crucial for maintaining overall well-being and avoiding burnout. In recent years, more companies have recognized this and have started offering flexible work schedules, remote work options, and other benefits to help employees manage their time more effectively. And now, let's have a look at the key vocabulary from this lesson. First of all, we have productivity. Productivity means the rate and amount that something is produced related to the time and effort needed. In other words, what you get out of what you put in. By the way, we also use the adjective form productive to mean that a lot of something is produced compared to the work and time used to produce it. Here are some examples. High productivity is valued in American work culture, often leading to long work hours. Companies often focus on increasing productivity to stay competitive in the market. I had a productive morning. I was able to finish everything on my to-do list. Here is a way to increase your business English productivity. There is a podcast from All Ears English called Business English, and they will help you feel more confident with your business English. My friends Lindsay, Michelle, and Aubrey show you real business English vocabulary for the global economy in the Business English podcast. You can learn vocabulary for socializing and making small talk with colleagues. They also cover English writing, presentations, job interviews, telephone English, and more. In the next few weeks, they'll be talking about how to deliver a strong proposal to your manager in English and idioms you can and cannot use at work. Follow the new Business English podcast from All Ears English. Just type All Ears English into your search bar wherever you are listening to this podcast right now and choose Business English Podcast and hit follow. Next, we have burnout or to be burned out. We use both to talk about the feeling when you are mentally and emotionally exhausted, usually because of stress. Let's look at some examples. Burnout is common in high-pressure jobs where employees feel overwhelmed by their workload. To prevent burnout, it's important to find ways to relax and recharge outside of work. I was totally burned out from a job I had for a short time in 2010, so I quit and started my own company. One way to prevent burnout is to have a good work-life balance. A person's work-life balance means that they are spending enough time outside of work on things like family, hobbies, and personal activities. In other words, there's a good balance between the time you spend working and the time you spend on living. For example, my friend Paul always tries to maintain a good work-life balance. But it's true that many people struggle to achieve work-life balance, especially when they have demanding careers. Companies that promote work-life balance often have higher employee satisfaction. As well, having a flexible work schedule will also help prevent burnout. A flexible work schedule is one that allows employees to choose their working hours within certain limits. Here are some examples. Jenny appreciates her flexible work schedule, which lets her start and finish work at times that suit her lifestyle. A flexible work schedule can reduce stress by allowing employees to manage their time more effectively. These days, more and more companies are offering flexible work schedules to improve work-life balance for their employees. And finally, we have the career ladder. A ladder is a tool which has steps and is used to climb up to and down from high places. With this image, we have the career ladder or the company ladder, which means a progression of roles and responsibilities in your career. As you work in a company, you'll typically receive promotions to higher positions, bringing your career up the ladder. Let's look at some examples. The opportunity to climb the career ladder is a motivating factor for many workers in America. This is a true story. My aunt was one of the first employees of a cosmetics company in the mid-1940s and went up the company ladder to become the head of the HR department there. Frankie has been steadily climbing the career ladder at his company, starting as an intern and now managing a team. Keep in mind, the best way to remember this and any other word or phrase in English is to take that word or phrase, write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then memorize your sentences. Did you know that you can get the chance to practice this kind of English with me directly? You can get more practice using your English when you join my Podcast Learners Study Group. There, you can make new friends. Join us for live group lessons every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose podcast lesson 740. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast was brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.